97.9 The Box is the Mad Hatter Morning Show. We're in here with Rashad Bilal and Troy Millings. They got the Earn Your Leisure podcast.
Thank you.
Now, the fellas in here, give me for those that don't know what you guys do, break down what you do. Now, I know, because I see you on Instagram. I literally never checked out the podcast. I always see you on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'm just being honest. But for those that don't know, tell them what y'all do.
Yeah, well, first, you got to check out the podcast.
Yes, sir. Obviously. Because that's where home is. I get it.
Nah, but first and foremost, we appreciate you bringing us up here. So we're a financial literacy podcast, and we talk about the backstories of sports, entertainment, and business.
Right.
But the financial side of it. So a lot of times, people want to be rappers, they want to be athletes, or they are fascinated with entrepreneurs, but they don't understand the steps that it takes and the financial side of it. So we kind of dig deep into that. That's our niche. And we've had a lot of great guests that have shared a lot of great insight, everything from real estate to the music business to stocks to everything.
Yeah. I mean, and on a personal side, like Rashad's a financial advisor, I'm an educator, so we just kind of take those two powers and put them together to teach, right? We're just educating, really.
You are. Now, here's the thing. Where did this all start? Like, were y'all homeboys and y'all just would always be sitting around talking money? Like, hey, we should just record this. Pow.
Where you want to start?
Now, it started forever. Like, this my brother. I knew him for over 25 years. We grew up together. So we always have these conversations. And then, as he said, I'm a financial advisor. That's what I do for a living. So a few years ago, I had an idea. I wanted to be the financial guy on Instagram. And so I started a campaign on Instagram to build my social media page, my own personal page, and that really took off. And from there, people wanted extended dialogue. It started with a 50 Cent. So I did a video about 50 Cent vitamin water deal. Yeah. And a lot of people know about that deal, but what they didn't know was the backstory behind it. Like Ron Artest got offered that same deal, but he wanted $200,000 of money, of cash. They didn't have that. They wanted to give him equity. Ron Artest turned it down. Yeah. 50 Cent took the equity, and he got $90 million off of it. So
I did not know that. They said this is the first one.
But that's the line. It was we decode the lyrics. So when he says I took quarter water, put it in bottles for $2. Then Coca-Cola went and bought it for billions. That's what's up. So when people hear that line, they recite that line, but they don't really understand that line. So we decode the lyrics for people.
Yeah, for sure. So then from there, people was like, yo, this is dope. Like, you should do an extended platform. So I'm like, what's the best way to do that? I'm thinking a podcast. So I'm like, Troy, you want to do a podcast with me? He's like, yeah. He came up with the name. The name is his idea. He came up with the name, and it's crazy because we never really listened to any podcasts, and we didn't have any experience in anything. So we didn't have any expectations. And
that's the best way that things happen. Sometimes no expectation, don't know if you're going to take a W or take an L. I love that, man.
Yeah, we were literally working out, and he was like, yo, you want to do it? I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
But before he even did the Instagram thing, we were running summer programs, and one of the things that I wanted to implement in the summer program was a financial literacy piece to it, right, a component. And that time he was starting his financial advising career. So I'm like, look, man, I need you to come in and talk to these kids. You'll be the face of this thing. And that spawned into him going into schools. And from there, he launched his Instagram page, and the rest is history now.
Wow. Yeah, for sure.
How did you know when it was working?
It's crazy. Right off the bat, like I said, we didn't really have any expectations, and we just did it. And as soon as the first episode came out, it hit. And then 3 months in, we cracked the top 10 in iTunes. So it was crazy. You literally be doing this on iPhones in his house. And we had past Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman, Wall Street Journal, all that.
At the peak, Gary Vee was in front of us.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So it's and we just never really stopped. We just consistently been growing. And it's just it's so quick. We just started in January. So, but
has it just been that short of time? It seems like I've been watching y'all forever.
Everybody says that.
We didn't even know statistics on podcasts. We didn't, like you said, we didn't listen to it. So we looked at it. We were like, yo, the average podcast episode gets 200 listens.
Right.
And when we saw that, we had that in a day. We were like, all right, first week it was 1,200. I'm like, yo, we got something. And then we just started growing from there.
5,000, 10,000, 20,000.
Now y'all going on tours.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
going
crazy.
city to city. Now it's a business.
Yeah.
Now you don't do what you used to do now. But the knowledge is there, the passion. Well, the passion is there.
Yeah.
and the knowledge is there. And I guess from you know what, and they're equal actually. Usually you got to say you got to do what's your passion, and then you got to do what you love. And I think it's equal with you, Cass. You can tell that you're really into the information and what you give. Because even stuff that I'm not interested in this part of finances, but let me see what they gonna say.
Yeah,
let's make it cool.
That's crazy. It's crazy that you say that because that's really the whole platform of how we try to do it. So each week it's a different topic, right? And like you said, you might not be interested in one particular topic, but we try to just make it interesting. And it's like, all right, it's not gonna hurt me to check it out. Like, you know what I mean? So we had like a restaurant owner on. Even if you're not into restaurants, it was just such a good interview. Yeah. It's like one of people's favorites. Like, you know what I mean? So we had like a sports agent on. Like, so even if you're not into being a sports agent, it still might be valuable information just to learn. So, and another thing that separates us is that financial literacy is in season right now. Like, especially in our culture, is real big. But there's not a lot of outlets or platforms that you can get it in a language that you can relate to. So like, they look at us, look at us, and they feel like they know us. Like, they could play pickup basketball with us. Like, you know, we're not the most polished as far as like the way we talk or the way we dress. We just straight off, you know, out of the neighborhood. But that's kind of the appeal, because it's like, oh, they talking high finance, but they sound like they're in the barbershop. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And it gives people who are starting businesses or growing, who don't have any notoriety, it gives them a platform to talk about what they're doing. So we get people who are like, yo, I'm doing real estate. Nobody in my neighborhood even knows I'm doing that, right? I wrote 6 books. Here's how you do it. Like, nobody even knows I'm an author. So it gives people, everyday people, a platform to express like what they're doing in their careers.
So what will y'all be doing in H-Town today? What will we get information about
H-Town,
tonight?
we need y'all to come out.
Yeah, for sure. So we got a networking event, meet and greet at
Le Chateau.
Yes, that's at from 6 to 10, and it's going to be dope. We're bringing a lot of really high power social media influencers in the finance area that's going to come. Some of our guests is going to come, and it's going to be everybody from real estate to credit guy is coming, and we're going to just meet the people, talk to the people. And the whole thing in the networking event is that the most important thing in business is relationships. So a lot of times, like, you might live in the same street as somebody and you don't know what they do, or the same community, you don't know what they do. So this is an opportunity. You might, be able to meet your business partner. You might be able to meet somebody that you can buy a house with. You might be able to, do some business with somebody. So these are the things that we don't do enough of, and I see other communities doing it. So these are one of the things we want to go to city and engage with our supporters, but more importantly, have them engage with each other so they can build, and we can really just do this together.
But you're trying to force relationships that will last even when we leave Houston, right? So like you said, like, you meet somebody that could be your tax professional, that could be your new real estate agent. It's about forcing a relationship so it carries on even when we're not here. You know what I mean?
How do they sign up so they can be a part of
it?
So I know it can't be we just showed up and we
our website, earnyourleisure.com, we have an events tab, and you just go to the events tab and it's free. So
that part again, because people like that.
It's free. It's totally free.
Love that part.
Free 99. Free 99 for sure.
Like free. So I get knowledge, I learn, free, I network. I might bump into somebody that's gonna help me to become the millionaire that I always wanted to be.
Exactly.
For sure.
Give them the website again and what time everything starts.
Earnyourleisure.com, and it starts at 6 p.m. from 6 to 10 at Le Chateau. Yes.
And also, if they want to see what y'all got going on, you got the podcast. How can they check y'all out there?
Yeah, the podcast is all the information is on earnyourleisure.com, but our YouTube channel is Earn Your Leisure, Instagram is Earn Your Leisure, Facebook is Earn Your Leisure. So Earn Your Leisure, Twitter also, Earn Your Leisure across all platforms, and YouTube, and the website is earnyourleisure.com.
There it is right there. I appreciate y'all coming up here. It's funny, once again, to meet y'all brothers and not know I'm getting ready to meet the brothers who I be watching like I watch television. So that was real cool. I'm like, I know who these damn guys are, man. But that was real cool, man. That was real cool. And keep doing what y'all doing, because we need stuff like this. And I think, sadly, we don't get enough of this in schools. And the cool thing about social media is all these kids go here and get information. Yeah. So they're getting good, they're getting the other information too, but they also getting this other side of it. And like you said, I think right now learning and income and money and real estate is in season right now. Yeah. So it's very exciting to see y'all, Cass.
I appreciate that, man.
Thank y'all for what y'all
Appreciate
doing
it.
too, for real, man. For real. Thank y'all for what y'all doing. We need more of that.